Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is me once again, screaming into the void of the internet. I was gonna decide if I wanted to work out today or make this video, and I am still a little bit sore after my 12-hour shift, so I'm just gonna go ahead and record this, and then I'll probably work out after I get home. And yeah, I just wanted to say this is probably gonna be a little bit over the place, and this is gonna be a more watered down version of what I really want to say because yeah, this platform. That's all I'm gonna say. I find it so odd that we live in the world that we do, like we are literally in a world of degenerates and idiocracy. I posted a community post. And in that post you see a very, let's just say, less than stellar looking double X chromosome. Specifically, a hyena, if you catch my drift. And just looking at that kind of person, you just see like the misery on them, and you see the anger in them, you just see the bitterness in them. And in this space, and I'm not going to make this about like the black pill 24/7, but I am going to incorporate a little bit about it. I am almost positive, considering like the way that double X's are, especially in this community, uh, that she sired children, and I am almost positive that she incorporated all of that bitterness that she feels into those kids, thinking that it was fine to just drive back and forth, running over baby ducklings. And this is the world that we live in. The average intelligence has gone down dramatically over the years. Like, there are grown adults that cannot read past a sixth grade level. And they can influence the country for better or worse, and I know that people say what they will about voting, but, they can influence the country. Like, we're just in an idiocracy. Like, I know that movie was seen as, a comedy, but I feel like certain movies are kind of like dang near psyops, where it's like they're laughing at you, like, yeah, this is what's happening, you can't do anything. Another movie that you can probably use as an example is Eyes Wide Shut, if you've never seen it. Whether or not you want to say that this is conspiracy theory and stuff like that, people catch these freaking politicians and Hollywood bastards. They catch them over and over, like in these massive orgies and stuff like that, and you really think that there's nothing to what they were saying? You really think it's just conspiracy theory? Like, you got to talk about it for a minute. But the film Idiocracy, what did it show? Just showcase that in the future, that like the intelligence of people was just going down, and they just can't form coherent thoughts, and they were just all concerned about, does this feel good? In other words, is this giving me the ick? If it's giving me the ick, I'm not going to focus on it. That's what you hear about these younger folks these days. Like, if it's the ick, I'm not focusing on it. And I look at that stuff and I go, how interesting is it that over the years, people have essentially they've essentially gotten to the point where they're just so comfortable in their comfort circle, in their little bubble, that you can't say anything that challenges that viewpoint. You can't say anything at all, or you're, like, you're the bad guy. And it's on a whole nother level now, because like social media has created so many spaces for people to just say, oh, we all agree, so like this clearly must be the right way of moving forward. Like, for me personally, when I look at all this stuff, I'm really beginning to wonder, like, I'm gonna say something funny, because I know I said this is gonna be all over the place, but like, there's a meme on Twitter. If you can call it X all you want, I'm calling it Twitter. Okay. And it was about these Japanese guys, I guess, that decided to post something saying that Blizzak's people, the Nibbas, the brothers, that we are essentially Viltrumites. But not in the way that, like they're cool, or like they're buff. It's just like Viltrumites in the sense that, they're a violent species. And I'm like, it's interesting that you would say that, but I would say in what regard, because for me, the only way that I could think of is the violent species, because as effed up as the Viltrumites are, they at least built a society. Yes, it was ruled by strength and stuff like that, but like they are intelligent. They do understand like technology and stuff like that. They're an intelligent people. You look at, say the Blizz axis, whether it's Africa and stuff like that, and you look at the infrastructure there, and it's just terrible, terrible. Now, infrastructure is not, an overall sign of intelligence. Like a culture can have like slow infrastructure and still be good as long as the actual like culture is interesting. But my God, over there is just it is just wild over there, and you look at that, and I'm speaking about this specifically because people have the gall to say, why would they even have a problem with the Blizzax? And you know why? It's because the cultural enrichment right now, especially now that they got a small taste of what would happen if their country, ended up welcoming some of the cultural enrichers, shall we say, right? And you can see these videos where like some of these guys are like, I can't go back because they get caught that they did something crazy. And it's like in my mind, I'm like, you moron, you were in a modern country. Why would you act like a dumb arse? You're in the country where you have everything that you could probably ever want within your grasp as long as you are willing to put the freaking work in. You're not in the mud huts. You're not in the heat. You've got good food and you're acting like a dumb arse. And once upon a time, I'm at least glad that Japan like just says like, yeah, the moment that you mess up over here, you go back. But once upon a time, we had a very, very easy solution. You cause trouble, you stop breathing oxygen. And I don't care if someone wants to feel like that's incorrect and that's not fair and blah, 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 blah. Because, forensics, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Forensics now can prove when somebody's doing something. Now, yeah, people do use it to like plant evidence. Like the good old CIA. They've planted evidence before. But for the most part, unless you're important enough, like they're usually not going to do that, right? So we can prove when someone's causing trouble. We can prove when someone's doing stupid stuff, right? And unfortunately, people still keep those people around. They let them continue to breathe oxygen. And you see what happens. You see it. You see it in every society. You see it in our society. I mean, just look at the degenerate stuff going on here, right? Cucking is something that people are just openly accepting now. They are openly accepting the idea that this guy has to commit to this person, okay, this double X. But she does not have to commit to him, and she can sleep with however many people she wants to, and you still have to provide. But if you snapped, if you went ahead and just say, you know what, no, I'm going to take this guy's skull and offer it to the skull throne, then all of a sudden you're the bad guy. Screw the fact that, you signed a contract binding yourselves together. Screw the fact that you got kids together. Screw the fact that you work every day to provide. You can't retaliate. Once upon a time, you could retaliate. You caught both of them. Either they're both gone or one's gone. Most of the time, it was both of them. And what do you get as a society now where they're like, oh, well, that's just not fair. You see, we got to give them a chance, guys. And what do you see? What do you see in the West? Absolute degeneracy. People just openly saying, well, I'm just going to co-parent. I'm not going to like let these kids have a parent. I'm just going to co-parent. They're going to be with me most of the time. And I'm going to say every horrible thing you can imagine about the dad. And boom. That's just that. So even though we're co-parenting, they're not going to want to be around the dad. They're going to want to be around me. Right? This is the world that we live in. A complete idiocracy. Like if there's a man involved, he's incompetent. If it's a double X involved, she's the boss babe. She can accomplish everything. At least until there's danger. Because contrary to what you might think about Hollywood, trust me when I say that this cultural enrichment is showing over and over again that no matter how much of a badass you think you are, when you don't have a choice but to be, you find out how much of one you really are. And I'm telling you guys, all that I hear in these videos is screaming, he's about to grape me. Someone help. I don't see Floyd's coming to save him. In spite of how much guys are being treated, they still come and save him. They still come and save him. It's amazing to me. Like, no matter how much they are giving us crap and giving us hell, guys are still coming to their rescue. I am done personally. On a personal level, I am done trying to pretend that there is anything that I can do to change this idiocracy of a society. I am done trying to save anyone that is not, let's just be honest, at least in some capacity, aware of the cultural dynamics and the cultural shift that is occurring right now. Because I'm going to tell y'all something straight, guys. They've already won. Okay? This is what you guys need to start doing. When you see all this idiocracy, when you see the cruelty happening, just remember, you're stupid. You're a dumb man. You're incompetent. So go ahead and feeding into the stereotype. Feed into the stereotype. I mean it. Feed into it. You say, I can't help. I'm stupid. Remember? I'm the incompetent, especially if you're Hugh White, because God forbid that a Hugh White man has any intelligence these days, right? That's how this culture loves it, right? If it's a commercial, the guy's incompetent. If it's a movie, oh my God, he's just there just to be an idiot. So you just say, well, I can't help. What do you want me to do? I'm incompetent. Start playing into it. Yeah, you should. You should. Because remember, the double X's fought tooth and claw, air quotes, shall we say, for this. And they have power. So you go ahead and say, no. You got it. You got it. I'm sure you can handle it. Give all of that responsibility. I want you to go ahead and remember for a moment that they were trying to put the burden on you like you're Atlas, right? Greek mythology, Atlas, held up the world. So what I want you to do, you feel all that weight? Shrug it off. Do an Atlas shrug. Drop it. Drop the weight. Don't care. Don't get yourself involved. It's a goddamn shame that we live in the idiocracy we live in, guys. Trust me. I hate the fact that I have to walk around here with a knife, especially at nighttime while I wait around because, there's so many freaking crackheads and loonies and stuff. And I'm not in a bad neighborhood per se, but, the restaurant that I am, guys, the amount of homeless people is just, it's wild. And you can tell that they're on something, so I have to, walk around, with a knife and stuff like that. And I'm probably going to get my pew pew license maybe next month or something like that, depending on, how much the classes are. I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of so I can get my hands on a pew pew. Because, yeah, it's that serious. We don't live in a safe world, and I don't really think that we ever did at any point by any means, but it was certainly a bit more, you were a bit more willing to let your guard down. I don't think you should ever let your guard down, but you were willing to. But this idiocracy that we live in, yeah, it's just not, it's not safe. And it's a shame that we have to worry about this. It's a shame that the kids have to deal with it. Because listen, I'm not really feeling bad for anyone that votes for this. I do feel bad for the fact that most of the time they have kids. And whilst they're already effing the kids up, it sucks that the kids don't get a choice. Because we don't choose our parents, guys. We don't choose our parents. And so they have to put up with the fact that their parents are defending the people that are going to come in and do awful things to those kids. It's a goddamn shame, but you got to accept that we can't save these people, guys. You're not going to save this idiocracy of a society. You're just not going to do it. But what you can do is save yourself. And that's what I highly recommend doing. Be a bit more narcissistic. If being narcissistic is a bad thing because you're actually prioritizing yourself, you go ahead and prioritize yourself. Be a little bit more narcissistic. I mean it. Call it a day. Because I'm not going to sit around here and pretend for one moment that this world is not as crazy as it is. Where we are defending degenerates and punishing the people who are morally upright and have principles. Because that's what's going on. And they are going out of their way to punish those kinds of people. When you have to do stuff like Florida, where they had a Good Samaritan law that I still don't trust, by the way, which essentially meant if you helped someone in a time of need, let's say you gave them mouth-to-mouth or chest compressions during CPR, if you helped someone by offering them a ride or something like that, they cannot then go and say, "Whoa, this happened," because it was happening so much that people were getting to the point where they're like, "Yeah, I'm just never going to help." And they were like, "Well, we can't have that, so we got to change the laws." I still just say don't help. If you don't know the person, don't help. Especially if it's a double X involved. Because, this false accusation crap has just destroyed any semblance at all of desire to help and meet a double X. If I do not know them, no. Will I help my, room? Oh, I would, because she actually looks out for me a bit. I'll help her. and I have to live with her, so I'd rather us be on good terms. But others, because something funny that I mentioned at work, like that happened a while ago in a previous video. If you never heard, is one of the random coworkers, and I don't speak to her very much. I just say hello. She, like basically pulled me to the side and said that her girlfriend wanted me to know that she was in a relationship. And like I said, I didn't care, so I was completely thrown off. But ever since she said those words to me, she doesn't exist. She doesn't exist. If she felt like I was trying to come on to her by, saying good day and stuff like that, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and never speak. I don't care if she was broke down. I don't care if she was stuck. I don't care if she was about to get, let's just say, cuddled aggressively. I'm not intervening. I don't see you. Because I don't need any kind of drama with somebody trying to tell me that I need to do something. Because heroes don't win here. Heroes do not win here, folks. It doesn't necessarily mean you gotta be a villain, but you sure as heck don't gotta put your life on the line. You don't gotta be selfless. Nope. Don't do it. We live in an idiocracy and there's no changing it, guys. You gotta accept the clown world for what it is. For me, I accept the clown world. Remember, my acceptance is not me liking it, it's me navigating. I encourage you to navigate, guys. Navigate accordingly. Do whatever you can do to keep yourself in a safe distance away from the nonsense. Get away from it. Get away from it, seriously. The best decision that I ever made, guys, was to just Atlas shrug. Let it go. Let it go. Stop trying to have all these people tell you that you need to do something, that you need to fight harder, that you need to be more of a man, blah, 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 blah. It's exhausting. Let it go. I don't care what they think of me. I don't care what they say that I am and am not supposed to do. Because all they do is shift all of the burden, all of the responsibility onto your shoulders and then tell you what you need to do. And they're not carrying 1 ounce of that responsibility. Let it go. Let it go. Because this world is not going to get any better. It really isn't. Now, that's not to say that, it's like this everywhere. There are places in the world that are, a bit better, but, the enrichment is coming for them too. And I'm really hoping that they're going to stand on business. I'm very happy to see that Japan is, just trying to throw out those troublemakers, but there shouldn't be any of those people there to begin with. But it just proves that again, hey, these governments only care about one thing, taxpayers. They don't care about what this country looks like, the demographic. They could care less. As long as they're in power and they got their money, that's all they care about. That's all they care about. So here's what I'm going to conclude this with, guys, because this is going to be a two-parter. And this video is not going to go up until I record my Rumble version, where I'm really going to say the stuff and the people that I really want to say. Be careful. Because, yeah, we have this to worry about. The average intelligence of people, before I conclude this, I saw a post about, Sony, PlayStation, requiring facial ID in Germany. And people were basically saying, and it was a surprising number of people, stop complaining about it, or just stop playing the PlayStation. Screw the fact that you want your privacy. Just be a good little goyim and give your ID. This is the average intelligence. We live in a complete idiocracy. Complete idiocracy. This is the average intelligence. They're just going to go with whatever these people give them. And you have to accept that you can't save them. Remember, Atlas shrug. Just shrug off the weight. Shrug off this idea that you're going to save these people by enlightening them or something. You got to accept that you're literally the guy trying to teach chimpanzees language. It's not going to work. They're probably going to rip your face off. Don't. Atlas shrug. You go ahead and leave the chimps alone. And I don't say that as a greatest way. I say that from the standpoint that you got to accept that we are not the same. We are not cut from the same cloth. It doesn't matter if they look like you. It doesn't matter if they have the same skin complexion as you. It doesn't matter if they come from the same family household as you. If you are a free thinker, we are a dying breed, guys. We are not the majority in any capacity. We're not. You got to accept that, man. So please, for your own sakes, guys, remember, we live in an idiocracy. The average cruelty and intelligence, the cruelty goes up, the intelligence goes down. The degeneracy goes up, the morality goes down. That's all that's happening right now. You know, and you got to protect yourself at all times because you got people walking around you, defending crap like cuckery, defending crap like animal cruelty, like it's nothing. You know, and then you have the same people that have the audacity to say, "Don't hurt the criminal. All he did was struggle snuggle. He has a life to live. Just give him community service for 5 weeks." And they just laugh when they get captured because they're going to be out. You know? Yeah. But I'm going to conclude this here because we're going to have a nice, beautiful discussion on Rumble where I can go ahead and really say what I really want to feel. So you can go ahead and look forward to that because you're only going to see this once the Rumble version is up and it's going to be linked in the description. So look forward to that. Thank you guys for watching. Please take care of yourselves. We are in some very crazy times. God bless. There's life beyond your pain. I will see you in the next one.